If you want to stay up to date with all current hip hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to become part of this community. Alright, I know I'm a bit late, but today I still wanted to give my final thoughts on Polo G's latest album, Hall of Fame, because this is an album that I've talked about quite a lot leading up to its release, and I never really gave it a conclusion about what I thought about it. And we talked about this in the Discord on stream quite a lot when, we talked about new releases. I made a review of the Migos Culture 3 album. I made a listening party for it, but Hall of Fame never got that special treatment. So today I want to give my review and my honest thoughts on Hall of Fame. So this thing really had some hype leading up to it. Polo G is someone who has been rising up to be a star over the past 2 to 3 years, especially with the GOAT last year and then Die a Legend a year prior to that. He's had, hits like Pop Out with Lil TJ. Then on the GOAT, we had a couple of big songs like 21, Martin and Gina. And then so far leading up to Hall of Fame, the singles had been doing pretty well. Rap Star was his first song to debut at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. This was a very big moment for him. Also, Gang Gang featuring Lil Wayne I thought was pretty good. We had that Epidemic single, that GNF single. So, going into this, I was pretty excited, but at the same time, because Polo G had been promising that this thing is going to be something that people hadn't heard before, and in that little trailer that was leading up to its release, he said that he's really going to give people something that they need and that they need to hear. But from the singles, I hadn't really gotten that feeling so far. They all seemed kind of very generic Polo G songs that you could just replace with any other of his songs because they were just kind of basic in a way. And this thing is really not that special, to be honest, this whole record. I've finished listening to it. I'm actually pretty disappointed, although, in the end half, it got a lot better than at the beginning. We start off with Painting Pictures, one of the most basic and boring Polo G tracks that I've heard. Maybe in itself, it's not boring if this is the first track from him that you hear, but Painting Pictures is literally the recipe that we've heard him use for the past 3 years. This is really nothing special. Any fan could probably just skip this and he would have never missed out on anything. The same goes for a majority of these tracks. There are some highlights on here. I think No Return is actually pretty good. Polo brings a lot of energy to this track. Lil Durk's verse is amazing how he comes in. The Kid Laroi actually did pretty well on the hook. I was surprised. But then again, Toxic, Epidemic, Gang Gang were just basic Polo G songs, although I like that Lil Wayne feature a lot, actually. Boom was powerful. It's also doing pretty well so far commercially. I think it was the one that debuted the highest on the charts. So that was kind of a switch up in here that I welcomed very much, but then again with Black Hearted, broken guitars, it was just tedious at some point sitting through these. And this thing is 20 tracks, so it's a lot, actually. Now, what I also want to mention is, especially, for example, with Broken Guitars with Scory, who didn't really add anything to the track that was very exciting. These tracks are all very short. This thing is 20 tracks, but only 54 minutes in length, because most of these tracks are sub 3 minutes. Actually, I think 95% of these are sub 3 minutes. So to me, that kind of just seems like a flooding the market strategy. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he really took his time with some of these, but I don't know. It was just nothing that I appreciate and respect that much when all the tracks are that short. Now, GNF was a track that I didn't really like from the beginning, because I think Polo can do pretty well on drill beats, but GNF was just never a song that I fell in love with, so that went for that. Then Go Part 1 with G Herbo was actually pretty okay, but only because of that G Herbo feature. I liked him quite a lot on here. I thought this combination went together pretty well, gave some Chicago energy from that. I also, saw Polo talking about G Herbo in an interview, saying that although they're not that much, apart in terms of age difference, G Herbo was someone who he grew up listening to, and that's why this feature was so special to him, so I appreciate that track. Heart of a Giant with Rod Wave, I think Rod performed pretty well on here. He's been killing it with features recently, so this was okay. Then Zoo to Freestyle, not really my cup of tea. Same goes for Party Life featuring DaBaby, Losses featuring Young Thug. Those are just the basic DaBaby and Young Thug feature songs that you would expect. Like, when I went into this, I knew what these were gonna sound like, and they sounded exactly like that. So it's just, I don't know. So Real, had some pretty cool storytelling on there, but then sometimes he just didn't stay, concise to the story, didn't stick with it that much, so I don't know, didn't really resonate with me either. Fame and Riches with Roddy Ricch. I liked Roddy's part on here. I think they went together pretty well, especially over these like picking guitar beats, which is a speciality from both of them. So it went together pretty well. But if this was just like if you see it in like a bigger context of the album and you kind of compare it to other tracks, this seems pretty basic. For the Love of New York with Nicki Minaj was a track that I was very kind of confused about when I first saw this, because what does Polo G have to do with New York? How does Nicki Minaj fit on here? And this is kind of a weird dancehall track, and Polo G's part on here, listening back to it, it actually doesn't sound that bad, but the first time I listened to this, those mixes on YouTube where it's like Lil Tecca Ransom, but it's mixed poorly, and like the voice doesn't really fit the beat. I felt like this was the case for this track. Like I thought the verse Polo didn't belong on this instrumental. I was waiting for some pianos and guitars to come in, but they never did. So yeah, and I think Polo really did that to himself. We always make fun of him for only using piano or guitar beats, but that's kind of the lane that he's now put himself in, and it's weird when he does something like this. I think he should start with something a little different and not go to a dancehall track immediately. Nicki was pretty good though. Clueless with Pop Smoke and Fabio Foreign was a highlight though for me. This is in my running playlist. I'm working out to this. Amazing beat. I love those synths in the background. This is not a piano or guitar beat, so I love this track. Go listen to this. This is like my highlight from this whole thing. I remember one of you guys also recommended this to me in the stream. I can't remember who exactly it was. If you're watching this, please comment, because I want to thank you that you made me listen to this, because this is definitely a highlight. Bloody Canvas, which kind of wraps the whole album up, having a connection to the first song called Painting Pictures. This one is called Bloody Canvas, so you kind of see that frame, literally, no pun intended, here going on, and this is a great storytelling track. I love this. This kind of saved the album in the second half, because he's talking about his childhood friend getting murdered, and how the whole story went down. He's talking about how the killer then how his personality changed, the struggles that he went through. So this is amazing. You should listen to this track. This is amazing. So yeah, all in all, this was kind of to be expected. It's really nothing special, really not what Polo had promised us. So I'm a bit disappointed, but I guess some people will go back and replay some of these songs, and that was his goal all along. But I really hope that he can reinvent his style and give himself some more creative space in the future, and not stick to the formulas that have just worked in the past. And that's something that I think he will be able to do, and he will be able to make great music with that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this, but that's just my opinion. Now I want to know what you think. Did you like this new record? Did you think he switched it up enough? What tracks were your favorite tracks? What features did you like? And was it that different from what you initially thought it would be? Let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media and blog down in the description. It really helps me out. Until the next one, y'all have an incredible day, and y'all take care.